All right, it is 5 o'clock, so I'm happy to welcome everybody to the first Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of the 22-23 Council. We'll start us off with the attendance today. Elder Feldy.
Present.
Elder Flicky-Paneski.
Here.
Elders Ackley and Perella are both excused. Chair is present. We have a quorum. Will you all please stand and join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and since it's our first meeting of the session year, let's do the introduction of committee members and staff. If you'd like to start us off, Alder Feldy, we'll go clockwise.
Alderperson Feldy. I am the alderperson for the 1st District and chair of the Common Council.
And I am Roberta Flicky-Paneski, Alder District number 2. I am vice chair of the council and vice chair of the Finance Committee.
I suppose I should. Trey Mitchell, Alder District 9 and chair of the Finance Committee.
Todd Wolf, City Administrator.
We'll go around the whole room.
I'm sitting in for Chad Kalshak for Waste and Revenues questions.
Chuck Adams, City Attorney.
Kate Kruger, Finance Director. Jessica Huss, Deputy Finance Director.
Ryan Stolenson, Mayor.
Debbie Bianco, Administrative Services Manager of the Public Library.
Carrie Karen, Assistant to the City Administrator.
Dave Feldy.
Cheryl Ward, Wisconsin Public Finance.
Jerry Vinton, President Board of Water Commissioners.
True Blood Water Utility Superintendent.
All right, thank you. Now that we've all been introduced, we'll move on to item number 5, the approval of the minutes from the April 11th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Minutes are approved. Next up, we have item number 6, which is resolution number 2 of 22-23, a resolution authorizing a transfer and establishing an internship program within the mayor's office budget.
All right, good evening, everyone. Just a quick reference to this item. And your IFC just kind of gives an outline too of where the money's coming from and where it's moving to. But this past year, there's been an increased interest in students, whether college or high school, that want to intern in my office. And then just based on today's market, paying interns is essential to finding good candidates to make sure that we can support them through their educational journey. So I guess, I don't know if there's any questions. We'll just be doing one intern this year for the value of $3,500 just to get us through the summer. So,
Questions or comments? Alder Feldy?
Only one this year, and in future years, are you looking at taking on more, like one a semester, or what's the thought?
ideally, yes. I think there's a lot of area to grow capacity, and I think there's a lot of different projects that these individuals could help out with. And I think conversations that I've had with different department heads and staff, that this is a program that we can grow not only for my office, but for entire City Hall and other departments as well.
Elder Flicky-Paneski?
So this particular resolution is just a one-time for this coming summer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
I have one more. There's a cost to this. Are you going to pay them, or internship, they're volunteering?
Yep, this is paid. That's why we're doing the budget transfer.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no other comments, I'll just say this sounds like a great program to me. I'm looking forward to see how it turns out.
Yep.
And with that, we'll be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second then. Seeing no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Next up is item number 7, which is resolution number 7 of 2223. A resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of up to $39,430,018 worth of water utility revenue bonds, Series 2022, and providing for other details and covenants with respect thereto. Who would like to take this one?
If I may, I would give a little bit of a technical background, and then I would like to ask our financial advisor to talk in more detail about the bond issuance and the safe drinking water loan. So the project itself has been many years in the making. I think the utility first approached the city in 2003 about an easement to build the project in a small location in Volrath Park on the lake shore. So we've been many, many years in the planning, prioritizing other projects, and finally we're almost here. The project is called the Raw Water Improvements Project, and it involves replacing critical infrastructure that's reached the end of its working lifetime. Some of that infrastructure goes back to 1887, some goes to 1909, and some goes to 1929. And we're replacing, first and foremost, a water intake pipeline. So, of course, our drinking water comes from Lake Michigan, and we need pipelines to harvest it or retrieve it. We have 2 of those currently, and one dates to 1909, and those usually have a working lifetime of about 100 years. So we've now exceeded that. We've had it in good working order and such, but it's time to replace it. So we would be building a 6,500 foot, 60-inch intake, replacing about a 5,000 foot, 30-inch intake. That would extend off the shore, and onshore it would end in a well basically dug 35 feet into the ground to collect water coming in from the lake. And on top of that well is a pumping station, and we would pump that raw water into our current water treatment plant. So we're really building a portion of a future plant. From this new station, we could deliver raw water anywhere we wanted to, but the current plan is to deliver it to the existing water treatment plant, which still has good lifetime left in it. So that's the project. It's been through all the DNR, Public Service Commission, local approvals, very lengthy, detailed design process, working with the Public Works Department to minimize any impact on Volrath Park, which we have done. And I guess that's my summary of the technical side. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain those. And then I would ask Carol to talk more about the bonds.
Alder Flicky-Pineski?
Thank you. One more time, the current one is 5,000 feet into the lake and 30 inches,
Yes.
and the proposed one is 6,000 feet into the lake and 60 inches,
Yeah, 6,500 feet, yes.
6,500. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this part?
I have one.
Alder Feldy?
I especially like that you gave us this printed sheet, because I know somebody's going to ask about, what this is going to cost the taxpayers. And I like that it says the loan is not a general obligation to the city and does not count against the city's legal debt limit. That's very important. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions?
No.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Evening. Okay, I am going to just review. This is my summary sheet that just hits some highlights, talking a little bit about the resolution and the revenue bonds. The resolution is authorizing borrowing. And this project, as you know, is being funded with multiple sources of funds. This safe drinking water loan is borrowing a not-to-exceed number, and that is the $39,430,000. And in addition to that, There's going to be about $9.5 million coming from the ARPA funds, and another $2 million from a federal direct spending appropriation, which I think you all are aware of. So that's all the funding at this moment going into the project. The resolution itself is approving entering into what's called a financial assistance agreement. And that's with the state of Wisconsin, and there's primarily two departments involved in this, the DNR and the Department of Administration. Okay, and that particular document is really setting out the terms of the loan. And the terms of the loan is to have it repaid over 30 years, and also that the interest rate is 2.145%, which is wonderful news, in, especially as you hear from day to day how interest rates are rising. So to have a 30-year loan locked in at this is historical, great rate, as well as for your future. The other thing is that the loan is a revenue bond. That means that in this financial assistance agreements, the state is agreeing to the fact that the security behind the loan, how it's going to be repaid, is strictly from the revenues of the water utility. And that, of course, comes through the rate base, right? How the rates are set. So that because of that, there is no tax levy pledge behind this loan or the repayment. So it is strictly a revenue bond, just as the other revenue bonds that are outstanding for the water utility. They're issued on what's called a parity basis. They all have equal claim to the revenues of the system. And because it's a revenue bond, it does not count against the general obligation debt limit of the city. So those are the two big differences between revenue bonds and your general obligation debt. Okay. The resolution is also authorizing the prepayment of some short-term borrowing that was done back in 2020 in anticipation of this project, basically to cover some engineering and design work, and that was $3.1 million. So that was intentionally done as a short-term note, or it was called a revenue ban, again, so it did not count against debt limits or any tax levy pledge. And we did that intentionally and put, at this point, a prepayment option that says once the council takes action on this resolution, the very next day, there will be a notice that goes out to those bondholders telling them that their interest is going to stop. And that they're going to, but we have to give them 30 days notice. That was the terms of that ban, which is very standard. So when we close on the revenue bond issue, which will be on June 22nd, the state requires that the bans be paid off within 3 days. So we're going to pay them off on the 24th. So between council action and the 24th, we have the minimum of 30 days that we need, and so that's what's all involved with the timing. And then those revenue bonds are gone, bans are gone, and become part of this $39 million loan. And it is, again, amortized long-term like the rest of the project costs. Okay? All right. Any questions?
Questions from committee members? Alder Flicky-Paneski.
Thank you. I am hearing that we have no option to keep the bans, that by law we have to get rid of that private debt.
Right.
And the state sets that as
Because
the issue.
the bans would all come due, that $3.1 million would all come due on May 1st of 2024. Okay, so they were issued as a short-term vehicle that you paid interest only between the year 2020 and now, and that the principal all comes due at one time. And the reason you would do that is with the expectation that they were going to be refinanced once this loan became available and then take it out long-term with, otherwise you would have to be refinancing them in the marketplace, which you would be realizing a much higher interest rate. So this is the reason why we have to call them.
Do you know what the interest rate was on any of those bans?
1.25.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, if there's no more discussion on this one, then we'll be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Thank you for coming today. Next up, we have item number 8, which is resolution number 8 of 2223, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a new memorandum of agreement with the State of Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection for provisions of weights and measures inspection and services.
Right. So my name is Gary and I'm representing Chad as he is out of town at a different seminar today. He asked me to attend to see if he had any questions concerning the resolution. Basically, what it is we contract with the State of Agriculture and Trade and Consumer Protection, and they perform the weights and measures inspections for us. And their proposal is to reduce their number of inspection days to 18 annually. So our cost ends up being reduced.
Questions, comments? Alder Flicky-Paneski?
Thank you. If we reduce the number of days and we reduce the number of inspections, will we still remain in compliance and keep our customers?
I would say yes, because the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection essentially details what the inspections are and how we need to comply. So what it ends up, bottom line, what it ends up meaning is the number of inspections performed is less, so businesses may only be inspected once every other year versus every year. So, but they'll still address any complaints that come in. And I think we'll still be in compliance as far as meeting what the department expects.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, words of encouragement? Alder Feldy?
I'm kind of confused on this. Where do we have these measurements? Where do they take place?
Measurements take place at the businesses. So for instance, the gas pumps, the State Department will go to the place of business. They will measure if their machines are accurate. And then they send us an annual report. So in return, we look at that and then we bill inspections to the individual businesses.
And how often do you do them now?
The state will perform those inspections annually to every business. I guess they have a larger commitment now where they're not meeting all the municipalities that contract with them. And I guess my speculation is maybe they're having some staffing concerns like a lot of other businesses and things. So they're just contracting to reduce their number of inspection days. Could there be adverse effects? Possibly, but they will deal with the complaints as well and go and inspect those sooner if they have to. So we do have a conference call with them Thursday that we can address more concerns with them.
Any other questions? If comments? If not, thank you. And we will be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, then seeing no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Our next scheduled regular meeting will be coming up on the 23rd. And with that, we have exhausted our agenda, so we'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.